SEAK Claus Winkler. This video is an art video and an art performance. My name is SEAK. Yeah, this video is part of my lifelong art performance. And yes, not end, we keep on going on. Wir machen weiter. Like in my desperate attempt to come up with things which are create value for you, to talk about my art, let's talk about the blue elephant in the room. I'm giving you an example, since we are here on YouTube and it's all about being popular, I don't know. When I exhibited with Banksy, we had a mutual friend, Shock One. So and then I hooked Shock One up with Dime and Daddy Cool and Tarzek and Stoet and Hamburg from Getting Up. And they were like doing this like legendary exhibition, which is like one of the most essential street art or graffiti or post-graffiti, how you want to call it, art exhibitions in the history of graffiti. It was in the beginning 2000 years, 3 times in a row. I exhibited with Banksy and we had a conversation because we shared the booths next to each other. And I reckoned something and we was like making jokes and then talking, and I don't want to have to talk the details about the situations, but then he came up with like something like, he said, I'm a butcher. In terms of, a butcher is like, in German you say Metzger, someone who's like, selling and slaughtering meat. But it also has a double meaning. It means like we share, how do you call that? We share an ass, that's like a woman, like sharing a butt. But also sharing a butt is like a butt is like a short end of a joint of like marijuana. I'm trying to boomer thing, keep it here, just to, I don't know, for future generations, in case they don't know slang or the slang has transformed. So like sharing a butt, it means like I think the butt is also the end of like a roach, the end of a joint. So it's like sharing that, puff, puff, pass, this kind of thing. Of course, it's also a working class job, and he later acclaimed in a famous arts critic, Jerry Sauls, probably after he saw what I wrote on my website, and he claimed that like the Banksy always said that about other people to make him appear working class or something, and to minimize envy or jealousy, but this is interpretation for me. Anyways, the point is, I reckon this as like, once again, my name, SEAK, is putting people too far into the, out of their own comfort zone, into the limelight, into the borderless, structureless, open freedom, where they are kind of naked, and they have to secure it for themselves, who they are on an intimate level, while having a public persona or already being witty, and with that wit maybe also masking something, because I thought for a split second, why masking? It's like how I'm coming to that, but hey, you have the S and the K. The S and the K, and the word seek starts with an S and it ends with a K. And you have that in the word mask within, like a social mask, or a persona. So in a way, my art or my name brings people into that thing, or into a thing they want to project or play, or they want to I observed, from my perspective, that it can have different, it has something to do with social interaction. There's different interpretation for my art. I'm showing in between here some of my drawings. This is like a conflict on Geltungskonflikt. So You have to be stable. But because of the colors, it can also keep you. This is, for example, a small a, but a very this is upside down energy. So you have to be. Don't kill the messenger. So the word seek. There's like one interpretation from the word seek or SEAK Claus Winkler is that people come up with a story that tell other people to achieve their goals, maybe, while being witty, taking off the mask, or taking on a mask, and securing oneself to what they are sexually into, and masking any like skeletons they maybe have in the closet. Because they have the word closet, it has the CL from Claus, the SE from SEAK, and skeleton also has the SK from SEAK, as well as the LE from Winkler. So, hey, I didn't choose me. I didn't choose that. That everything chooses me, and it's barriers to benefits. So barrier to benefit. Like we make everything which they throw against us, we turn that into a benefit. So this was already. I'm already trying to do a media law. That was my first media law, like faking to be funny. So I have to take in the breaks and stay who I am, because see how tricky that is. Even talking about social masks and personas and sneaking in is that I'm starting to then faking the funk and changing myself, and so I'm just observing myself. So maybe seek means like also you self-observe yourself in a way. I don't know. Basically, these are Copic marker sketches on stone paper. It's called, it's made from stone. It's not like classical paper. And these are from Copic markers. The reason why I'm not using Copic markers is I heard that they fade away in like 100 years. I don't know if that's true. Maybe there's possibility to fix, to manifest that it stays forever. I don't know. Plus, it's also a little bit of a waste of time because in the meantime, I can also paint canvases or paint wall paintings, so or on paper or painting on a truck or a car. So these are like in real life, I would be this size, it's a proper size. If you want me having something painted like this on your wall, you should contact me for this, but this takes a little bit longer, but I can also do something like this in an afternoon or a few days. If you are a pro-white activist or a politician, when you're a politician and you're from an established party, you also have money, but if you're like say a pro-white activist, grassroots or like an active club, and you do activism, waking up people, I will make sure you get something nice, and I take care of you regarding art. So and if you're super wealthy and super rich, you just have to have premium prices. You have to pay premium prices, or regular prices, how you want to call it. My name. I think my name is very strong or has lots of impact. Of course, my paintings too. I mean, I influenced lots of people and multiple generations of artists, or graffiti writers, or vandals, how you want to call them, all around the world, and messed up graffiti, and along with a few other artist colleagues of mine, and of course, I'm not going to downplay myself, but also not the others. So this has like a strong cultural effect. You don't probably reckon that, because you're probably some mainstream guy and you watch mainstream news or mainstream media, and
mainstream legacy art magazines or art books. So yeah, but you probably don't know or don't care is that usually that those mainstream things are always like they take from artists or concepts or creatives which are more underground, and these underground artists then also have role models or take it from more underground artists, and then where I came into play. I mean, come into play for sure because I'm now 52. Like I'm 51. I'm turning 52 in a month. So yeah. So I'm influenced already in the late 90s. Lots of people all around the world. Having my website and everything, and yeah, being in magazines, it's like being a new avant-garde, you know. It's it maybe explains it. Yeah. So if you have any stories about my art, you combine with my art or experiences, just write it in the comments. Yeah, and I dig up on it, and yeah, would be curious, you know. Yeah, again, should I again talk about how my name works? There's like patterns, there's patterns how my art or what I'm doing is manifesting things or combining things. And I think that's something to do with the large A when I write my name or type my name on cell phones or on computers and stuff, you know? Because I paint it with a small a like this, or like this, or like this. But when I'm writing it, or typing it on the cell phone, it's always a small a, a large A. Which is then, how I say this, a triangulation, which gives lots of energy. It's like a large A. Here are the small A's. I'm contradicting myself, you know. I'm talking about large A's, but I'm drawing all the time small A's. A large A is a triangular. And a triangular is always, yeah, between 3 points, 3 persons, 3 things, you call what it is. And a triangular is always giving lots of energy and power. I guess it has something to do with like some primal things, like you and 2 other women, or like you and the other male and the woman, and who's the father and stuff like that. So it's always like a powerful thing, and that ends up in being like powerful. Or maybe you and 2 other people from your tribe, or you and your tribe, one of your tribe against another person from another tribe, or you versus 2 other people in a tribe. So it's I would say on a primal instinct level, it creates distress, which you then have to overcompensate, and that's nature, you know. So, and then you have this E sound from SEAK. You can also say SEAK, but you know, it's like SEAK. Here there's no triangle. And that means yeah, it's, how do I call it? It creates disgust. And disgust is like a protection mechanism, you know, purity, you know, like, oh, the food is disgusting, you know, like, because back in the days we must stay healthy, otherwise we won't survive, you know. Or if someone is dirty or anything, that means you can also get sick or ill or something, you know. It's a protective mechanism, you know, which is also used in politics. So it depends on how you spell my name. You can say it like SEAK, or you can say it SEAK, or probably less like SEAK, or so like lots of other ways of saying it. But on the other hand, I mean, so if you can combine my art with the word I, then you have like forming the personality, you know. Maybe I should also integrate that. People who sell you something probably will do that. That's what I'm observing. Yeah. It's forming the self, you know. And being disgusted by something or overcoming disgust, learning a new cultural technique, you are, saying that, defining your ego or defining yourself. And it's contradictory because you define yourself by saying no, but on a Spanish level, my name, SEAK Claus Winkler, says also sí claro, you know, and it's almost the same. It also says sí claro, it almost sounds like seek. So it's always like, yeah, you have to reflect on things and to have to test it or prove it or proving it or, you know, then come to a conclusion, which is maybe a hard seller because it's a little bit more, how do you call that, anspruchsvoll. It takes like mental effort and a little bit more intellectual or thoughtful or wise or mature. And also the word Klaus, in German you say Klaus, but in English you can also say Claus, and you have like the awe, you know. So the awe is like, oh, it's so horrible, or oh, it's so beautiful, you know. It's a destabilization, and it can go in a positive as well as in a negative way. So yeah, so it's you already reckon like how you would perceive my work is depending on how you spell my work, how you maybe pre-primed that day to spell my work. It's very vacant. I mean, I don't know. That's how I see it. If you positively pre-primed, or I'm already seeing something in my work which you like anyways, I don't know. It depends. There's also this indirect energy, or if you already learned, I don't know. Yeah, so I was saying it's the word seek. Yeah, my aim is to paint all these styles on canvas, maybe also on paper, in different medias or aesthetics. Yeah, plus I must finish all these other paintings I'm having while I'm saying that. What takes ages. The interesting part is that in my life, I'm very much interested these days into what's happening here in terms of the social engineering, what people perceive, the Kalergi plan, the Morgenthau plan, you know, activities from certain people, and that's also included in my name. You know, you have the word seek. Sea is like, you know, is it the Mediterranean, or is it like Save Europe Act campaign? I mean, they kind of named it SEA, Save Europe Act campagne, because I'm every day forwarding stuff to Martin Sellner, and he takes things up and stuff like that, and also painted Eva Vladingerbrück's name and Martin Sellner's name on my house and stuff like that, and doing a lot of things behind the digital, curtain or something. So yeah, it's a huge influence, and but that goes along with my first published work, you know, on Stadtanzeiger on the 3rd and 4th of December 1983, defending Europe, defending Germany. So, I mean, this maybe doesn't look like it's And maybe it just looks like some, oh, this is cool 3D post-graffiti, progressive is like a tiny heads word, like avant-garde art, la-di-da-di-da, but it is much more. It also includes this constant, they have like this little deep state there, and they're fighting, and when it because you have like the EA, it's like Germany, or then those Arab tribes in that, in the deep state, who also have like an EA in their name, as well as that country there has an EA in their name. It's crazy, it's like, I see patterns. I mean, I could keep, dumb or trying to hide that, but it's like, I came up with that name. Yeah, so it's my subconscious, and it goes with the word SEAK Claus Winkler also. Yeah, so... what would be interesting is to learn from you what my art is saying, or what is steering on an indirect level, and that probably would be if you have a political role to fulfill for yourself or for others, or for personal interest. It will be also interesting to talk to you, because you maybe then have to hide something, or must hide something, or wants to trick me, or fool my perception. For example, if you're from the legacy media here in Germany, they all sign contracts, and there's laws. They can't say what they want to say. Otherwise, it's like they're all. Those legacy medias here in Germany, they were the first ones who became the license to publish media after World War II from the Allied occupation forces. And yes, they pre-planned the World War I and World War II. It's technically, or by law, it's one war. And the First World War never stopped. They planned it long before in Washington, D.C. and in the city of London. And also it helped, they were sending those Bolsheviks over to first prepare the situation in Russia. Yeah, so, how lightful can art be there? Or maybe my art takes you away from this, like you're already aware of this now, and now you need me to take you somewhere else. And that only works when the artist's name, this is the backside of the Copic marker painting, when the artist's name is, how I'm saying this, is kind of like embounding, encapsulating, or whatever, all these truths or realizations you're having. I don't know. Yeah. And no, I wasn't conscious about all this in the last 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 15 years ago. And maybe I can trying to emulate my thinking from that time, because it's kind of, I don't know, I'm just giving you now. And I would probably talk in graffiti circles amongst writers totally different than here, in this video. Yeah, well, that boomer museum, high culture world, they were changing the population here. So, I don't know. Like, it's like I'm expecting that in 15 or 20 or 30 years, Europe will have this interest in art and culture and museums and contemporary painting, etc., like people had 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 30, 40, 60 years ago, or 100 years ago. I don't know. I doubt that. This is also, regarding demographics, politics. Demographics dictate everything. Then also because of social media, it comes on top of it. Plus, large systems, museums, and plus the art market too, because in the art market there's just very few artists who are exclusive and elite, and it only works like that, because otherwise everybody is elite, it doesn't mean anything. Plus the winners in the art market are declared before they are winners, and then they get brought into position, like the same with politicians, all these fancy politicians, they all became placed, and they have sometimes different names, different ethnic backgrounds, or they all have the same ethnic background. They're put in power, so hey. Yes. Let's talk about more about my art and my name. Yeah, discussion with AI that she took the take that my art is more powerful than my name is more powerful than my art, which in German is called an Eigentor. If you shoot a goal into your own goal in a game, I'm not much into ball sport and all that stuff, obviously. Because it's part of the social engineering and pacifying the populace. But I'm also having all these round forms here in my name, in my letters, so it's kind of contradictory. I don't know. I mean, the question is also where does it take people, and how does my art affect people? I mean, this is what interests me. How does my name, SEAK Claus Winkler, where does it take people? I can get that when I'm influenced by a word or by a name, and then do something, and then I'm wondering, this was today, I have like a certain ritual maybe for something, or doing something this way, and I was like, my perception is a little bit different, the way I'm looking. And it's like, yes, really, yeah. I just, like a few minutes before, I just read that name or watched that painting and thought about it. And then a little bit later, I did something different, and then I'm reverse engineering what I had just saw before, or heard before, or the name before, the word before steered me, and how the forms and the words had this impact on me. The problem is, how can I learn this from my own name, from my own words? And because I'm sitting always in that name, I'm not getting the lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. What HT would like caricate those like rap videos. It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. Yeah, like what's that vibe? My name. How does it work? SEAK Claus Winkler. How does it steer people, and what happens afterwards, and how does it change the perception? And the viewing and the looking or the senses, or that would interest me, really interest me, because it would be, because I can deduct it from others, but I don't know if I will take a look if I'm able with doing that with my name too. So thank you for watching. I hope this was some kind of use. See you in the next video. Thank you.